1800 hours, Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan, the news read by Ali Ahmed. First, the headlines. Information Minister says the government is pursuing a comprehensive roadmap to handle the coronavirus challenge. Government has announced opening of Pak-Afghan border at Torkham and Chaman round the clock for 6 days, except Saturday. Domestic flight operation has been restored partially to facilitate the passengers. 31 deaths reported in the country due to coronavirus during the last 24 hours, while death toll across the world has risen to over 308,000. Several countries around the world have begun gradual easing of coronavirus-led restrictions. In occupied Kashmir, Indian troops continued their violent cordon and search operations today in different areas, adding to the miseries of the residents suffering military siege for the last 9 months. And now the news in detail. Minister for Information and Broadcasting Shibli Faraz has said the government is pursuing a comprehensive roadmap to handle the coronavirus challenge. Addressing a news conference in Islamabad today, he said despite the economic constraints, the government gave a giant stimulus package of 1.2 trillion rupees to provide cushion and support to every segment of the society affected by the contagion. The Information Minister said under SARS program, 104 billion rupees have so far been dispersed amongst the deserving families. He said the cash assistance program is being executed in the most transparent and efficient manner. Shibli Faraz said all the federating units have been taken along to cope with the situation arising out of the pandemic. He said the federal government has provided personal protective equipment to the hospitals in all the provinces. Stressing the need for unity to tackle the challenge, the Information Minister regretted that the opposition parties did not give any positive suggestions in the National Assembly session. Special Assistant on Accountability Shahzad Akbar on this occasion said those who were hand in gloves with Shehbaz Sharif in corruption stand exposed today. He said there is trail of the kickbacks received by PMLN leader. He said Shehbaz Sharif will have to answer to the corruption charges. The government has announced the opening of Pak-Afghan border at Torkham and Chaman posts round the clock for 6 days per week. The border was closed on 27th of March as a precautionary measure to contain the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Later, it was opened for 3 days a week last month. Both the borders will remain open 24/7 for 6 days, except from Saturday, which will be reserved for pedestrian move only. During 6 days when the border will be opened, unlimited number of trucks will be allowed to cross per day, while ensuring proper SOPs and guidelines for both Afghan bilateral trade and Afghan transit trade. Domestic flight operation has been restored partially to facilitate the passengers. A spokesperson of PIA said a flight of the national flag carrier carrying 84 passengers reached Lahore from Karachi today. The spokesperson said the SOPs are strictly being observed to avoid the spread of the coronavirus. He said it has been made mandatory for the passengers to wear masks and use hand sanitizers. Pakistan has conducted over 14,878 tests in the past 24 hours, which is the highest number of assessments made to diagnose COVID-19 patients. This was stated during the meeting of National Command and Operations Center held in Islamabad today, with Planning Minister Asad Umar in the chair. Asad Umar expressed satisfaction over the enhancement of testing capacity that has witnessed 30 times increase with a rise from 2 labs in mid-March to 70 labs till date. The minister said people of Pakistan cannot be left on the mercy of pandemic. He said we will take all steps necessary for public safety and well-being of the people. 31 deaths reported in the country due to coronavirus during the last 24 hours, while the number of infections has reached 38,799. During the last 24 hours, 1,581 new cases confirmed. 14,201 cases have so far been detected in Punjab, 14,916 in Sindh, 5,678 in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 2,457 in Balochistan, 518 in Gilgit-Baltistan, 921 in Islamabad, and 108 in Azad Kashmir. A total of 10,880 patients have so far recovered from the virus, whilst the death toll stands at 834. Coronavirus pandemic has claimed more than 308,000 lives across the world so far, with over 4.64 million confirmed cases. The United States is on the top of the list with over 88,000 deaths, followed by Britain, over 33,000, and Italy with over 31,000 deaths. Similarly, more than 1.7 million people have recovered from the infection. A special PI flight carrying 257 stranded Pakistanis left Baghdad for Islamabad today. Ambassador of Pakistan to Iraq, Sajid Bilal, saw off the passengers at the airport. On the occasion, the ambassador also conveyed his gratitude to the government of Iraq for their valuable support in facilitating the repatriation of stranded Pakistanis. 249 remaining stranded Pakistanis in Sudan were also flown from Khartoum to Peshawar today. This is Radio Pakistan. Several countries around the world have begun gradual easing of the coronavirus-led restrictions even as they grapple with the economic fallout from the pandemic. Italy's government approved a decree that will allow travel to and from abroad from June 3rd. Ireland will begin the gradual reopening of its economy as planned from Monday. In Moscow, authorities have started testing thousands of randomly chosen residents for coronavirus to determine when it is safe to lift the city's lockdown. Pakistan has rejected Indian Army Chief's recent comments leveling allegations against Islamabad and hurling threats, saying they are part of India's desperate attempts to divert the world's attention from Indian state terrorism and egregious violations of human rights in occupied Kashmir. Foreign Office spokesperson in a statement said the indigenous Kashmiri resistance being faced by India is the direct consequence of New Delhi's unabated oppression and brutalization of Kashmiris. India's mischievous attempts to portray the legitimate Kashmiri struggle for self-determination as terrorism would not succeed. In occupied Kashmir, Indian troops continued their violent coordinated search operations today in different areas, adding to the miseries of the residents already suffering immensely due to unrelenting military siege for the last over 9 months. According to Kashmir Media Service, the residents of these areas told media persons that the troops have made their life a living hell. They said that the forces barge into the residential houses, harass the inmates, and ransack the household goods. Indian police and troops arrested 5 youths from Arizal in Khan Sahib area of Badgam district today. The chairman of Islamic political party, Jammu and Kashmir, Mohammad Yusuf Nakash, in a statement in Srinagar said that the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has started a bloody game under the cover of COVID-19 against Muslims in India and Kashmir. In India, at least 30 migrant workers were killed today in road accidents as they tried to return to their home villages during a nationwide coronavirus lockdown. The accidents in central and northern parts of the latest involving some of the millions of laborers left stranded and jobless by the 7-week shutdown. Scores have died in road and rail accidents and even from exhaustion walking home. In Italy, government will allow unrestricted travel ban between Italy and other Schengen states and within itself from 3rd of the next month. The decree was approved by the Council of Ministers. They loosened restrictions and will come more than 12 weeks after Italy closed its borders to non-essential travel as part of Europe's first national coronavirus lockdown. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours. However, rain, wind, thunderstorm is expected in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Gilgit-Baltistan, Kashmir, and its adjoining hilly areas. To end the news, once again the headlines. Information Minister says the government is pursuing a comprehensive roadmap to handle the coronavirus challenge. Government has announced opening of Pakistan border at Torkham and Chaman round the clock for 6 days except Saturday. Domestic flight operation has been restored partially to facilitate the passengers. And that's the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk. And for the live video streaming of our bulletins, visit the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.